Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
If you can't tell by Jerry's very sour voice there, the Carolina Panthers have just lost another game, three in a row now. This one to the Vikings, 34-28 in overtime. Panthers wasted a furious late fourth quarter comeback by Sam Darnold and the boys, tied up at 28, ended up losing on the first possession of overtime. The Vikings
Yeah.
just drove right down the field, pretty much as they've been doing the whole game, and got a touchdown. So we'll talk about it. Just overall kind of thoughts right now, Jerry. How you feeling?
I feel like this team is not any good, honestly. I felt completely different 3 weeks ago, obviously, but this team is really bad. It's badly coached, a lot of stupid coaching errors, a lot of stupid penalties. The offense is just boring to watch. It's pathetic, pure pathetic to the point where I'm saying, should Joe Brady be fired in the middle of the season? That's a legitimate question I'm having now. And that
Yeah.
should somebody else take over because no one else, this team just looks pathetic. The defense, which is the strength, had 0 sacks, I think, this game. I mean, they got some pressure, but they got 0 sacks against Kirk Cousins, who's more of a statue quarterback who dropped down back 48 times.
Yeah. And Panthers, by conversely, gave up four sacks, and some of them just in really bad times. But yeah, I mean, I'm not quite ready to give up on the season yet. I don't think you're saying that you are either, but this has been a rough 3 weeks. The Panthers, I think, are closer to the team we've seen the last 3 weeks than they are the team we saw the first 3 weeks. Unfortunately, was a very winnable game for the Panthers.
Yeah.
That they played terrible for the vast majority of this game. The fact that this game even got into overtime
Yeah.
was the Panthers didn't deserve to win this
No,
game. Like, I'll say that.
Minnesota outplayed Carolina this week
in
again.
pretty much every facet of the game. And the Panthers had, a blocked punt. They had, was it a turnover, down towards their own goal line. So they had a couple of plays that kept them in the game. A lot of penalties that went the Panthers' way to keep drives moving because the offense couldn't do it. I am agreeing with you on Joe Brady. Like we've talked about it the last few weeks, his offense is not imaginative. It's not fooling anyone. There's nothing the Panthers are doing that's making anyone say, whoa, where did that come from? Or, what a play call there. It just doesn't happen.
No.
The Panthers aren't getting any of that. The receivers are today, especially that like Sam played bad. Like we're not giving Sam Darnold a pass at all. And Jerry and I think feel a little differently on Sam Darnold. I'm not quite as doom and gloom on Sam Darnold, I think, as you are, Jerry, but the receivers today did not help Sam at all.
No.
When he actually made good throws, they were not catching them. I mean, some of them just bouncing off their hands, bouncing off their chest plates. They're just not even. I can't even explain it. I don't even know what happened out there. But really, until that last drive, and even on the last drive,
Yeah.
it was one that just bounced right off DJ Moore's hands.
I mean, DJ Moore dropped a touchdown that would have given them a shorter way to come back, and he just dropped it. So they had to go back, got a field goal instead, and had to drive the length of the field again. I mean, that's just pathetic. Pathetic all around. This whole offense deserves this L. They all do. The defense did better, but
defense doesn't get a pass. They gave up 570 yards,
yeah,
34 points. Again, no sacks. The defense isn't at full strength. We know that, but man, that's a lot of yards and points to give up to expect to win a game. And I know it went into overtime, but they were right at 500 yards offense before overtime started. So tough. Well, let's go ahead and get into our key plays of the game here, Jerry. I'll kick it off, and you can take the next one. First key play of the game here, right off the bat, first play of the game, Sam Darnold pass short right intended for Robbie Anderson, intercepted by Rashard Breeland.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of the theme for the game, trying to force the ball to Robbie Anderson when there wasn't a play to be made. Robbie Anderson didn't. I think Robbie Anderson could have made a better play on the ball here to at least break the pass up. And Breland got it, and the Vikings scored for, on their first possession. But again, that sort of set the tone, right? That and it was the first play of the game. I mean, come on, like give us something to believe in here
Like, why
before
didn't
you
he run the
immediately.
ball? Why did he try to throw that
Yeah,
ball? It was so
and they were
badly.
trying to go downfield. They were
Yeah,
trying to go downfield immediately, and the play was covered. The Vikings, by the way, they came out. They knew exactly what to do against the Panthers on defense.
yeah.
They knew
I
exactly how to play these receivers.
The Vikings played a great game. Let's
Yeah,
not take
they
anything
were
away from the
prepared.
Vikings. They were
Yeah,
way better coached. They were way
yep.
better prepared. Yes, they had a lot of penalties, but so did the Panthers.
Yeah.
It Coach Rule, he can't be on a hot seat due to his contract, but he probably should be on a hot seat. I'll put it that way. This slide has looked miserable. This team has looked awful in these 3 games. Oh, sorry. I know I'm supposed to be
That's
going on
okay.
to the
Go ahead.
second
Go ahead.
second key play. Second and 10 at Minnesota 35. Kirk Cousins pass short right. Jefferson caught the ball, got up to the 41, and fumbled it. AJ Bouye punched the ball out and recovered by Hassan Reddick. And Hassan Reddick returned it to the 22. That led to the touchdown. I remember this play dramatically because I was screaming, "Get in the end zone," because the offense won't score.
Right.
I literally screamed that at the TV.
Someone
And I was
tweeted out
shockingly.
bad job by the defense there for not scoring.
I mean, oh,
No, that was a great play, and on it, at that point, again, that's in the first quarter. That's the
yeah.
Panthers are on their way to, Vikings are moving the ball, and Panthers had just gone 3-and-out, not looking good, or not
No.
3-and-out. I think they had made one first down, but it was, they punted. So to get that ball back right there, especially return it to the 18, and then 2 plays later get in for the touchdown. Two
Yeah.
rushes, by the way, later.
Yeah.
Didn't throw the ball at all, and they score. Look at there. That was a big play of the game. All right, we're going to skip all the way to the fourth quarter here. We know a lot of plays happened in between that are,
Yeah.
key plays, but
Key plays we can't do like 20.
Yeah. This game was crazy. Like
Yeah.
this game was all over the place. But we're going to go fourth down in the fourth quarter. Panthers at their own 4-yard line. I believe I saw that it was the Pro Football Reference tweeted out the Panthers had a 1% chance of winning the game at this point.
Yeah.
45-yard or 41-yard pass to Ian Thomas down the middle of the field. Perfectly thrown pass.
Yeah.
Ian Thomas, for once, catches the ball, on a game like today where no one
and very good coverage. It was
just just a great pass. Honestly, great pass. And that's what Sam Darnold can do, and it drives you crazy because he's got the talent. He just isn't consistent.
And that's what he was.
Perfect pass.
That's what he was in college, and that's what he was at the Jets, and that's what he is here. He is never going to become anything more. That's
what Jerry says. I don't necessarily agree. I think with better protection, players that can catch the ball. I think if everyone catches the balls that are thrown to them, if there are 1 or 2 drops instead of 10 or 11, that the Panthers win this game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Honestly, and drives keep moving, and I just think that I'm not putting this whole loss on Sam Darnold.
Oh, I am not.
I don't think you are either.
No.
You are either. But a lot of people are.
Oh, no, I don't put this on Darnold. Honestly, I put this more on the receivers, Robbie Anderson in particular. Spoiler alert.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah, we'll talk about him.
All right, moving on to key plays of the game. Fourth quarter, 6 seconds left, 2nd and 10 at Carolina's 29. Joseph misses a 47-yard field goal wide right, putting this game into overtime. There's a chance.
And there's a chance. I mean, yeah, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. The kids and the wife are gone today, and my cat was very concerned with the sounds coming out of this office because I was just yelling and screaming that whole, really last 2 minutes, I guess, of the fourth quarter. Huge play. It takes us into overtime, and that's where it all falls apart. Second and 13 at the Carolina 27, about 5.5 minutes left in overtime. Kirk Cousins, deep left pass to Osborne for 27 yards and the touchdown. Um, you know,
The
not very good coverage, but they just went right down the field. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Panthers couldn't stop them. I don't know if the defense was gassed. I don't know what the play calling was. I was hoping to see some more pressure coming from the Panthers. Cousins had a lot of time back there to throw the ball. They just made several nice plays in the fourth quarter or the overtime, excuse me, to win the game.
I mean,
Again,
this defense didn't play good. I mean,
no,
the defense has been great all season, but this week they gave it up. I mean, to the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings, hats off. They dominated this great defense, and this pass rush was non-existent. Really. I mean, yeah, they got a couple pressures and caught some early throws, but they made Kirk Cousins not make a mistake. They did not. That sack, or Brian Burns overshot Kirk Cousins on like a 2nd and 10 on overtime. And
that was the play, I think.
and
Yeah.
if you would have taken him down, caused him a 3rd and 16, I think it's a different ball game. But
Yeah.
Brian Burns needs to learn how to not overshoot so much. That's like the fourth time this season where a stable quarterback, not even like a Jalen Hurts, he overshoots them, and the quarterback is able to escape, make a throw, or escape and make a 5 to huge run. I mean, he's got to calm down and figure out to square up a little bit more.
Kirk Cousins over under for rushing yards in this game before the game was 2.5 yards. Okay, Kirk Cousins is not a mobile quarterback. No. Kirk Cousins is not even a guy that can make moves around in the pocket to make guys miss. I mean, he's just not that kind of guy. That was a play that I think we should add to our key plays, honestly, was that the missed sack there, because I think it turned into, Cousins ran that ball for 16 yards. I think that was
his long, so 16. Yeah. So
that was a huge play in the game,
and it was a first down. So
kept the drive moving, and a play that had the Panthers gotten it, that would have been their first sack of the game, and what a huge spot to get it in. Didn't happen. All right. What do you want to talk about?
Let's look at the horrible stats. Horrible stats.
We'll start with the Panthers. So Sam Darnold is 17 of 41. 207 yards. Again, a lot of that coming on that last drive there. One touchdown, one interception. Those stats don't look as bad as it was.
No, it was awful.
It was terrible. He was, again, we talked about the drop passes, and there were a lot. And I would say at least 10. And I think there were more.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm going to say 10.
I know DJ Moore, who rarely has any, had 2, maybe 3.
I think he had 3.
And Robbie Anderson had about 5.
Yeah. Chuba had 2 or 3. Yeah. I mean, they Trimble had 1. I mean, there were several. But Sam was not good in this game. He didn't make good decisions. He threw the ball often into contested areas. Got rid of the ball really quickly sometimes, in terms of, throwing it out of bounds, when I think he had some time to kind of move around and see if anything was developing. But I think that first interception he threw really spooked him. He was just never right after that.
I feel like he needs to learn how to, if his first and second read are gone and he's already outside the pocket because the O-line is nothing but hot garbage out there, which it is. Yeah. He needs to tuck it and run. Get those 2-3 yards and get down. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm fine with him holding it and get knocked out. I want to see PJ Walker because he's not it. But
okay, well, I'm not gonna say that I wish he would do that so he got hurt. But I mean, he had a nice run in this game.
I don't want him to get hurt.
40,
that was just.
I know. He had 48 yards rushing as well. 30 of them coming on one play. But I agree with you, and that was something that I was thinking, early in the game, really into the third quarter, when he just wasn't doing anything. He wasn't effective at all. Why isn't he tucking this and running? There are lanes.
Yeah.
he's just throwing it out of bounds. I mean, if the reads aren't there, go, get 2 or 3 yards. Like you said, make something positive happen. Take a big hit, make your offense get up a little bit. Make the stand, the crowd that was 75% Vikings fans, make them get excited. I mean,
make your O-line protect you after a cheap shot. I mean, I hate saying it like that, but that sometimes rallies the team. And unfortunately, that offense had no rallying until the fourth quarter. No.
I mean, Jonathan Vilma on the broadcast was saying, really like in the second quarter, he was like, they need to change something up. They need to go up tempo. They need to do something to change this game because what they're doing is not working. And they would just huddle right back up. They would, obviously they're not listening to Jonathan Vilma, but he's right. Like they should have done something.
I absolutely agree. And I was thinking the exact same thing. When Jonathan Vilma, first of all, I thought the commentators were pretty good this week.
Yeah.
I know we've had Greg Olson 2 weeks, but I guess I've been so scorned by Rondé Barber over my years where when I hear a fairly decent amount of honest broadcasting, it's just like, oh, that's nice. But I agreed 100%.
Anyway.
Yeah.
They were very down the middle. Yeah, I liked it. And Jonathan Vilma, I mean, it was really, making fun of Robbie Anderson like the whole game.
But Robbie Anderson deserved it.
He deserved it. Yeah, he deserved it. All right, so Chuba, 16 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown. Got his first touchdown of his career in this game. So congrats to Chuba. You and I were talking a little bit during the game about Chuba's usage, and I thought they used him pretty well in this game. 16 carries. I thought they should have gone to him earlier, but once they went to him, they handed it to him almost every series, like every set of third down.
I felt like they delayed it. They kept trying to make Darnold become this like savior, throwing it constantly, and then like at one time it was like 10 passes to 5 run plays. And it was just
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like they went to him later than they should have. But once they did, he was okay.
He's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Okay, that's decent. But Sam Darnold's averaging 5 yards per completion and throwing 41 times. I'd prefer at least.
And by the way, that's generous because that's at the end of the game. At the point that we're talking about, he was probably averaging
0
yards a throw. If that.
Because he was. I think 2 for 10, 3 for 10. He looked pure like garbage out there. He was throwing it everywhere, and it was just And I was like, give Chuba a chance. I hate saying this as he's a backup running back, but it's time to start trying to ride him a little bit because Sam in this receiving core and offensive line can't handle it. Can't hold this game, and then that sucks up some of the safeties and stuff that maybe you can get a play action. I don't know. I don't understand what Joe Brady's thought process is. This is not LSU against, BFU college. You're not good.
BFU. All right. Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, 41 passes to, it's 23 carries technically. That's 2-1. And they were down a lot in the second half. They were throwing the ball a lot. But yes, we need to see more diverse play calling.
Yeah.
That's all we want. More diverse play calling. And if you're going to throw the ball, don't do the same plays every time. Like that's what they're doing.
Play action rollout.
The Vikings knew what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's in the pocket every time he's throwing the ball. Move him out. The offensive line sucks. Give him some space.
Kirk Cousins did a play action rollout to their tight end 4 or 5 times, and it skinned our defense every year. But our offense decides, oh no, we're too good for that, even though their offensive line can't hold a nosebleed.
I want to give Phil Snow some shit later about that. Wow, the one play that Kirk Cousins kept running that kept working every single time. All right, let's finish up Panthers here. DJ Moore, 5 receptions, 73 yards, 13 targets, a lot of drops. Ian Thomas, 1 for 41. Zylstra, 3 for 32. Shi Smith, 2 for 20. Robbie Anderson, 3 for 11 on 11 targets, 11 yards on 11 targets, and a touchdown. The big touchdown, of course, at the in the fourth quarter there. But man, Robbie Anderson, what is going on? I mean, it's time. Like, can we trade him? Can we get anything for him?
No one would trade for them.
He's just a waste of money now.
I mean,
This is now 6 games into the season. He has done nothing, absolutely nothing. And he pitched a fit last week, begging for the ball. They throw it to him 11 times, and he literally dropped at least 5 balls that he should have caught.
Ever since that Dallas game where everybody was like, "Oh, we need to get him more involved," they have tried to target him. They have tried to target him, and he is not responding. It is whether Darnold or not. I mean, he has 29 targets and only 12 receptions this season. They need to stop targeting him. If Terrace Marshall didn't get lambasted on an illegal hit, which, yeah, was definitely illegal, I would say go ahead and start looking at Marshall on the opposite side of DJ Moore and bringing in Robbie Anderson as spot up duty. Even though I'm disappointed in Terrace Marshall, I've seen him catch more consistently than Robbie Anderson.
And he got a concussion today, unfortunately. Terrace Marshall did, but
okay.
And you were actually being a little generous. That stats you read about how many targets to receptions, that was actually before the game today. So he actually has 40 targets and 15 receptions.
Oh, yay!
And since that Dallas game, or really since the Houston game, right, where he was called out, the Dallas game he had 11 targets, Philadelphia 7 targets, Minnesota 11 targets. So the first 3 games he had 11 total targets. So they have obviously made a concerted effort to get him the ball, and he's not done anything with it. He's got about the same amount of yards the last 3 games as he had the first 3 games on at least double the targets, maybe triple the targets. Insane. Looking at defense here, Keith Taylor led the team in tackles at 10 solo tackles. He, Jermaine Carter, and Sean Chandler all had 10 total tackles. No sacks to talk about. I don't know what else you want to talk about on the defensive stats.
Keith Taylor had a couple good plays, but other than that, I mean, he got picked on in coverage. I mean, at the beginning of the game, I thought, hey, Keith Taylor may become my hero, but he just kept getting picked on. Yes, he made the open field tackle after they caught it, but he was letting them get open to make those tackles. It's just so heartening. I like Shaq Thompson. You need to come back because, man, you are so needed in this defense. And Jeremy Chin, we need to drop him down in the box. This is dumb now. He is not making the plays he did last year.
Yeah, I saw Chin made some plays out there today, but he's not the force that he was last year at all. But he had 9 tackles, so he was right there with those guys. But 1 pass defense for him. Keith Taylor should not be playing as much as he's playing. I mean, obviously, we know the Panthers are hurting on defense in terms of personnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if everyone's healthy, I think this is a different game if everyone's healthy. But we're not going to blame the injuries on this loss because the Panthers still should have won this game. I mean,
it's the NFL. You got to deal with injuries. Yeah. I mean, Keith Taylor is a rookie starting out there like against Thielen. So, I mean,
you got Thielen and Jefferson out there, and we'll talk about them in a second. But just real quick, I thought Zane Gonzalez had a really good day today. Hit all of his kicks, and when it really mattered the most, he started kicking it through the end zone. Now, earlier in the game, he was not kicking it in the end zone, and there were some really nice returns from the Vikings. So I thought overall special teams, not a great job today. Now, they did have the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So a mixed bag for them for sure. But there was a point that I tweeted out, can we fire Chase Blackburn? Because the special teams looked so bad.
Yeah. I mean, special teams and offense have looked horrendous this year. Yeah. Overall, just the whole year. And the defense looked bad this week. I mean.
Yeah. Ryan Winslow, the punter that the Panthers brought up because of Charlton's injury, looked fine. 6 punts, average of 40 yards, 3 of them inside the 20.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. Looking at the Vikings, we'll go through this quickly because it hurts. Kirk Cousins, 33 of 48, 373 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Dalvin Cook, 29 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 2 receptions for 3 yards. So 31 touches for Dalvin Cook. Also, CJ Ham, 1 for 30, a big 30-yard rush by
And
him
you
on the
knew it was
third
going
down.
up the middle, but yet
Yep.
he went in untouched and got those
Yep.
yards. I mean,
Yep. Thielen, 11 receptions, 126 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 8 for 80. Those were the two, right? Those are the
yeah.
two of the best receivers in the league, and they both did what they were supposed to do. And then you had Osborne, 6 for 78, and that big touchdown at the end. So that's really it. I mean, that's most of their catches are from those three guys.
I
You
thought
had
Dante
Conklin.
did pretty well today against Jefferson. That being said, I mean, he
He
wasn't
ended
on
up with
him
8
all.
for 80. So, yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I agree. I mean,
out of 14
Dante wasn't
targets,
the problem today. Yeah,
no.
Dante wasn't the problem today. We should mention Tyler Conklin, their tight end, 3 for 71, and all of them, I think, on that same play.
Yeah, same
where,
style play over and
yeah,
over again.
Cousins rolls out, and he's got Conklin, he's got Thielen, he's got Jefferson, most of them wide open. They almost hit Jefferson in the very beginning of the game on that exact play.
Mm-hmm.
And Vilma was talking about you're going to see that play more because they're, rushing the ball up the middle. They're not getting a couple of yards, but they're using that to do this bootleg play for future. Yeah. And almost like 2 plays later, they did it.
Yeah.
And they kept doing it because
the defensive end would not stay back. They was always gun-ho on the running back. And then Kirk Cousins could just dance out there, give time, and then get tight end was always wide open for whoever was supposed to cover him. So,
yep. Looking at the defense, so Harrison Smith led them in tackles with 9. There were 4 sacks for the Vikings. You had Watts, Barr and Tomlinson combined for 1, and James Lynch, and then Eric Kendricks also had a sack. So, I thought overall the Panthers' offensive line wasn't terrible in this game. Like they gave him some time, but it did seem like there wasn't a lot of positives when they really needed them to step up. So,
I mean, grading on scale of this offensive line, I would say they did B minus, but that's on
D minus?
B minus on a curve.
Oh, that's generous.
That's on a curve, their curve. Okay. Now, if they were just a normal offensive line, that I would say probably more like D.
Yeah, D plus maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say a C just because I thought they were maybe a C minus. I think they were slightly worse than average, but not great.
Better than they have been. Oh man, this team is just in such shambles. Hey, we have Spider-Man joining.
Spider-Man's joined. Chase, how do you think the Panthers did today?
I don't know.
You don't know? Can you say keep pounding?
I guess so.
Say it.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. All right. All right, go see your mom for a little while. We'll be done in a bit. All right. I don't know. Any other stats or anything you want to talk about? Obviously, the kicking for them was not great. 3 for 5 for Joseph. Missed a couple of big ones, really, that kept the Panthers in the game. So, other than that, I don't really have much else to say.
I'm just dreading watching this team the rest of the season, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like this team has regressed a lot every week, and last week's collapse I feel like it's just shooting themselves in the foot now that they're bad. They're a bad team. They're just simply a bad team. They're probably going to get a top 10 pick because this coaching staff is bad. Phil Snow is the only thing that can kind of coach well, and he's struggling right now. He struggled against Minnesota. He got schooled by the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings and their players. So, Joe Brady, you've looked off.
Send him out of town. Yeah.
Me too. I don't know if there's anybody else on this team, but you're not innovative. You seem very bland. You're not coaching up at this team at all. Who has weapons? It's just piss poor.
I'm really tired of hearing the Joe Brady love fest from the announcers, and I think the narrative now is that Joe Brady is good, but we haven't seen it.
No,
we had 4,000-yard receivers last year. Okay, that's great. The offense still wasn't like putting up record-breaking numbers or anything. The offense wasn't super exciting to watch. And now there's a step back from that. It's just not been good. I'm done with the Joe Brady love. I don't get it. He hasn't earned it.
So do you think this team would have been better off with Teddy Bridgewater than Sam Darnold right now?
Yeah, and we said that.
I mean,
Both you and I both wanted to draft Fields or Jones. Both of them were there, right? Draft one of them. Keep Teddy here. You already are paying him. Play him for that season. Halfway through, throw in the rookies if it's not working out. But I think even without Fields or Jones on the roster and just Teddy, this team is better.
yeah.
Teddy's not exciting, but
He
doesn't make those huge mistakes.
Yep. And that's what Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's not leading this team in like the throws he makes, but he is costing us with his throws that he's making.
Now I will say that I get why they went with Darnold.
I did too.
Because Teddy's not your future. Okay. You're going with Darnold because you want to see if there's that untapped potential there, right? And if there is, and if you discovered that, then he is your QB for the next 15 years. And that's great. And really, they didn't give up a ton to get him. So I understand it. And I also understand the fact that this year was never supposed to be a Super Bowl year. This year was never supposed to even be really a playoff year when they started, right? I think this year is another building year. They're hoping to get around 500. I think that's what most internally they would say really was what their plan was.
So do you think they are a 500 team right now?
They are a 500 team right now. They're 3-3.
Well, I meant like by the end of the
season, I said they're going to be 7-10, and I'm sticking with that. I haven't seen anything that would make me waver from that.
Because right now I had them at like 10 wins, and I thought, okay, we can do this, especially at the beginning of the season. But this offense is not gelling. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. It's just, yeah.
By the way, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't like upset with 7-10 because it shows improvement. That's all I want to see is improvement.
Are you seeing improvement?
Expecting. Well, I did at the beginning of the year. I haven't seen it these 3 games, but I think there's opportunity for improvement as we move along. I mean, we're going to get Gilmore next week. That's really going to help the defense.
Yeah, Keith Taylor won't be able to.
Defense huge.
Keith Taylor was being picked on. Gilmore's not going to get picked on like that. Right. It's going to be going towards Dante Jackson, who's having a phenomenal year, people. Yeah. Even with these losses, he is playing really good.
He's playing great. Shaq is going to be back, right?
Hopefully.
In a couple weeks, probably. So that you're going to see that's going to be a really big improvement on the defense. Now, Frankie Louvu played really well today. Like, I continue to love Frankie Louvu, and I'm very glad that he's on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq Thompson is a better player than Frankie Louvu is.
Oh, yeah.
And for Shaq Thompson is going to make a big improvement on that defense when he comes back. So, and eventually CMC is hopefully going to come back. I mean, we can't count on that. We can't count on him being around for more than a game or two. But when he's in there, the Panthers are better. So I think the Panthers have an opportunity, as we get into the season a little more to improve. They're playing the Giants next week. That really should be a win. That should be an easy win for the Panthers.
Really should it?
I'm not putting it down as a win, but the Giants are so bad. And like half their team is injured. I mean, it really should be one of those games that lines up really well for the Panthers. They lost 38-11 today, and they got that 11 late. So I don't think the Panthers are in a terrible spot right now. They're still 3-3. If they go on a run, there's still opportunities to do something down the road. The trade deadline's coming. Like, there's still a chance to improve the team. But I really don't think that fans should be expecting this year 2 of Matt Rule to be a playoff team. I wasn't beginning at the season, and I don't see why we would now.
Yeah, I guess maybe I was getting hopeful, and I was really hopeful that because Sam Darnold was looking a little bit better than I was expecting, because I never liked him coming out of college, and he finally showed glimpses at the beginning of the season. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe it was Adam Gase. No, Sam Darnold, you suck. And we're going to be going into this offseason looking for a quarterback again. I'm very defeated the past couple years. And
Yeah,
I don't really
that
know
does
if
suck.
Matt Rule is really going to be the coach because this team is badly coached right now. And that's kind of part of my issues.
Yeah, they were not prepared today at all on
Mm-mm.
any phase. They were not prepared to play this team. Something's got to change there. And you know what really sucks is that we don't have a bye until like week 13 or 14. So there's no chance to reset.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep coming. There's not a chance for them to really take time to look at the problems.
Well, I mean, that's the
So,
problem is they're even when they have time, like halftime, they're
mhm.
not making the correct adjustments. They're just sticking to what they're doing, and they're not succeeding. That's what it's just so frustrating.
Another third quarter, the Panthers get outscored
Yeah,
13-7 in the third quarter of this game. Not great. All right, let's. What are we doing here? Heroes and zeros.
sure. I
Do you remember our bets for this week? I had.
It was the third quarter. If the Vikings
Oh yeah,
would outscore the Panthers, I lost because I was
yeah.
trying to be a
You
Panther
were
homie, and
optimistic.
that's
Yeah,
just not. Nope.
yeah.
I'm done. I'm done looking at the positive side for
You're
this
done being an
team.
optimist. I think I had Robbie Anderson over 120 yards and a touchdown. I'm gonna stop predicting any Robbie Anderson comeback games. I have no faith in that anymore. So, all right, heroes and zeros. Gosh, I'll start with my hero. I'll go with Frankie Louvu. Obviously had the big block on the punt that directly led to a touchdown. Had a couple other big defensive plays, and yeah, I mean, in a game that featured a lot of poor play from the Panthers, I thought he stood out.
Yeah, I was probably gonna go with Luvu. If not, I'm gonna go Zane Gonzalez just because
Yeah,
I, I,
there you
I
go.
feel
Some
like
kicker love.
I was gonna say honestly, like I didn't feel terrified every kick he made. So good job,
Yeah.
and you made him. So
And he made it, 47 yarder. That's
yeah,
not easy. And it looked
I
great.
I feel
So,
like we're no longer like sitting here looking at who's available as a kicker. So
right. Yeah, I think he's gonna last. All right, zeros. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Robbie Anderson, point blank, he
Okay.
he
Yeah.
dropped everything around him.
Yeah. I agree. We could rename this the Robbie Anderson Zero of the Year award or Zero of the Game because he honestly is a contender every single week. I'm gonna go Joe Brady.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, he was up there with mine.
Actually, I mean, Joe Brady, really coaching staff overall, but Joe Brady especially, just not adjusting, not giving us anything to get excited about.
Yeah,
The Panthers moved the ball in the fourth quarter at the very end because they had to. But even then, it was fourth down miracle throws.
yeah,
That happened to work out. So up until then, the only way they moved the ball was from penalty yards.
yeah.
So come on, Joe Brady, like earn your little genius moniker that you have that you must believe because you're not putting in the work. I need to see more. I'm really tired of this offense. It sucks. It's boring to watch. The defense is fun to watch at times. This offense is never fun to watch.
Mm-mm. No,
And it should be because we have a lot of talent. Even with CMC out, there's still a lot of talent on the field.
yeah,
Use it.
but they don't want to use it, Steven. Don't you understand that?
Well, they need to. And don't call me that. I know what you almost called me. All right. I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, I'm just so frustrated now. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. Leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We will be back. I don't know when we'll be back. At the very minimum, we'll be back on Friday with our preview for the New York Giants game. We may do something before that. Hopefully, we'll see. But until then, everyone stay safe out there, keep the faith, and keep pounding.